he's so big. You, sir, need to die. Sick job from my tank. That's a buffalo, man. What? What? Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today you're getting my no BS review of Rage 2, Bethesda's sequel to the 2011 Rage. What is Rage 2 exactly? Well, the easiest way to describe this game is if Far Cry and Doom had a post-apocalyptic baby, Rage is what it would be. You get a Doom art style, gore level, fast and furious combat with the open world exploration and mission running from a Far Cry game. And on paper, that actually sounds quite cool. I like both Doom and Far Cry, so why wouldn't I like a combination of the two? It's actually quite weird having played Far Cry New Dawn only a little while ago, which was a somewhat campy take on an apocalyptic Far Cry game, and then Rage 2 comes out with another very campy take on the apocalypse. I can't fault Bethesda for making their game in this theme since they didn't know New Dawn would be so similar. It's just weird playing two games which launched 4 months apart that vibe in a very familiar way. I will say though that Rage 2 is better than Far Cry New Dawn by a pretty long shot. The combat is better, the progression system is better, the world is bigger, the artwork is better, and the missions are a little bit more varied. Now, Rage 2 lays on the campy world design, storytelling, and dialogue heavily. A bit too heavy for my liking. But who knows, it might be the exact blend of cheesy cyborg apocalypse and bad puns that you're looking for.
Doc, I think I've got a big enough DNA sample for you. Let me bring it in. There it is, DNA sample. I guess this will put us ahead of the competition.
The puns are terrible, man. You play Walker, Texas Ranger. Walker, who is also a ranger. We don't know if he's from Texas. He is in fact the last ranger after your base and friends are destroyed by an army of mutant cyborgs called the Authority. The Authority are led by General Cross, a villain so villainy that you can basically write his dialogue for him. Narg, world domination and death to humans. I am a superior being, blah 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 blah. The problem I have with campy writing and game design is that it gets old fast, like in 5 minutes. So if you're building an entire world around bad puns and cliche game characters, it's kind of like saying prepare to be not surprised in the least, or feel emotionally connected to any characters for the next 12 hours. Which is about how long the campaign takes to beat. Naturally, doing all the side missions and extra quests adds a lot of playtime, but I wasn't exactly eager to go on a completionist journey after I was done with the main missions. Regardless of the stylistic choices in the game, one thing that will annoy anyone playing the game is the constant pop-up messages letting you know that you gained a new resource or mission update, which often triggers mid-dialogue or even mid-combat. This always pulled me out of the moment and out of the immersion, having the game constantly pause itself to make sure you understood some small detail. I honestly can't believe that this element was left in the game for launch. It kind of felt like playing a free-to-play mobile game with ad pop-ups saying, buy the full version to get rid of these annoying pop-up ads. Except that this is by design in a full retail game. Anyway, let's talk about the gameplay, starting off with one of the stronger elements, the combat itself. As a ranger, you have access to ranger armor, which can be upgraded with special nanotrite abilities like dodging, double jumps, ground pounds, force push, etc. Using these abilities in combat along with batting grenades back at your enemies and blasting enemies off of tall cliffs with your shotgun is actually quite an enjoyable experience. Once you get proficient with it, you really do start to feel like a total badass, zipping around the combat and exploding heads. That part of the game does remind me of Doom to a certain extent. It's just that instead of fighting a wave of demons in a Martian research facility, you're on Earth fighting wasteland punks or cyborgs. And although the combat is fun, it's not Doom fun. Like, not even close. The 2016 Doom, as far as I'm concerned, is a pure combat experience, where Rage 2 has a little bit of open world mechanics that can kind of allow you to cheese your way around some of the overwhelming odds. The combat definitely gets more interesting with the more abilities and weapons that you unlock. Locating arcs scattered around the world will allow you to unlock new abilities. It's also where you find new guns. This can be a fun excuse to go exploring to get new weapons and abilities, but it can also be frustrating at the same time, since some of the cooler weapons may take a long time to hunt down or just evade you for the entire duration of the game. When I beat the game, I only had my starting pistol, the assault rifle, a shotgun, and a rocket launcher. Not exactly an interesting arsenal of weapons, and I found it somewhat disappointing that the game didn't put the majority of the guns on a path that I would naturally come across. Now, it's going to be hard for me to talk about the combat without mentioning a game-breaking bug that I unknowingly encountered early on in my experience. The game has a mechanic called overdrive, which is a meter that charges up through sustained combat, and when you activate it, it puts you into a fast, crazy combat state where you do enhanced damage and have cool abilities. Many upgrades in the game tie into the overdrive system, so if you like, you can design your character around triggering overdrive and using all the cool perks that comes with it. About 4 hours into the game, I realized that overdrive was broken for me. Like, the ability never ever charged up, not even once. I think something in the starting mission of the game failed to enable it, and then there was no way to go back and get it. Considering that probably about a fourth of the game's combat is supposed to be tied into a crazy overdrive frenzy, this almost certainly robbed me of some of the more enjoyable combat moments. Now, this isn't a universal bug, not everyone gets it, nor have I found many other users with the same problem. But considering that it can happen and will ruin a big part of the experience, then that makes it a substantial problem and will certainly hurt my view of the game. Now, once I realized that overdrive was bugged for me and I wasn't going to restart and replay 4 hours just to get it back, I began speccing my character around other abilities. And despite playing the game on hard difficulty, it really did feel quite easy, even without overdrive. The biggest fault I found with the combat system was that it just felt unnecessary to use anything other than the basic assault rifle for, I'd say, 99% of the combat. The shotgun is certainly fun for style points and may be more effective in extreme close range combat, but once you upgrade the assault rifle with some armor-piercing rounds, it kills everything. Plus, you can hold over 400 rounds after you get a few upgrades, and ammo is literally everywhere, so it just becomes your one-and-done weapon. I would try and switch it up wherever I could just to make it more interesting, but I never felt like I needed to. I was actually excited towards the end of the game when I found that using a rocket launcher and assault rifle in combination on a specific giant mutant was more effective than just using the assault rifle alone. Let's talk about the upgrades in the game. Rage 2 lets you specialize your character around different combat abilities and weapons. I'm sure if you put in 30 plus hours, you could probably get enough resources to upgrade just about everything, but for the most part, as you're running missions in the campaign, you have to make a decision towards specific abilities, weapons, better stats, resource management, perks, etc. I like the amount of options and upgrade trees available in the game. It does allow you to focus on abilities that fit your playstyle the best, and I can see people wanting to try out different specs as they sink in more hours. Unfortunately, the UI for ability upgrades and resources is very confusing at the start. I'd say I was about 6 hours into the game before I really felt like I understood each upgrade tree, how to progress it, and where to find the resources. It might take others even longer. When it comes to vehicle combat, I was unfortunately again very underwhelmed. Driving physics are not good. Yeah. Alright, we're almost there anyway. Let's just go on foot. I don't think they have brake pads in the Apocalypse, and the weapons are auto lock-on, which kills any of the skill mechanics for me. It's also annoying when you're trying to lead a shot with a tank, but the auto lock-on puts your crosshair directly on target, forcing you to miss the shot. While driving around the game world, I decided to take my tank off of a cool looking jump, and instead of landing it, the vehicle just exploded on impact, which was very unexpected. Also, sometimes your car will kill you when trying to exit it, or it'll just disappear after running a quick combat mission on foot. Luckily, the game usually just lets you avoid the vehicle combat parts and just fight on foot if you choose to, except for a very poorly designed endgame sequence where you have to fight your way through a combat zone in a tank. At the end of my time playing Rage 2, I didn't come away feeling generally positive about the game. Friends were asking me if they should get it, and I said no. These are the same people whom I would have recommended Far Cry 5 or Doom. The game gets repetitive pretty quickly. The story and characters are, well, annoying at best. The vehicles, which were marketed heavily as one of the main features, are one of the least enjoyable features. And the combat, although really fun at times, really can't hold a candle to Doom. Not even close. If you want crazy fast combat, go play Doom. If you want an awesome open world mission running experience, play Far Cry 5. If you want a mediocre combination of the two, then play Rage 2. There does at least appear to be a lot of content inside missions, so if that's your jam and you want another completionist game, then have at it. In the meantime, I'll be eagerly awaiting the launch of Doom Eternal. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off. Not super close. What is that? That's a buffalo, man. What? What? Oh my god, dude. Buffalo launching is the new sport.